This episode of Super GG Radio is brought to you by our Patreon. Patrons of the show can get our Dogs of Super GG Radio newsletter, Super GG Radio stickers to slap on your closest PC or bag, input on what we cover, game nights with the hosts, and even a chance to win a copy of an indie we talked about. Not only that, but 90% of all patron contributions go to the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. Visit patreon.com/superggradio to learn more.
What's good, Internet, and welcome to session 223 of Super GG Radio, where friends chat about video games and all things adjacent. I'm your host with no time to explain what I don't have time to explain, Eric Getty Gettinger. With me this week is a shadow of a man, Alex Arona.
Care to explain what you mean by that, Getty?
I told you I don't have time to explain what I don't have time to explain. You get what you pay for. This is the opening. You can, Also with us, the man who puts Castle in Metroidvanias, Joel DeWitt.
That's the one word not in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I know that you're hiding all of those secrets. Those naughty secrets, Joel.
I'm still so sad I'll never beat Blasphemous 2.
Oh.
Not going back?
He's never going back. He was like 90% done with it.
Yeah. Real bummed. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the opening that Alex paid me for. Remember that. It's just a dumpster
getting
fire.
Paid?
Who's getting paid for this? And finally, with us, the inventor of cinnamon sugar, Alec Parks.
Yeah, I can't claim to have invented that, Getty.
Well, we're claiming it now. And I dare anybody to prove us wrong.
We're going to get sued. Super GG Radio does not hold liable of any statements created here by Eric Getty Gettinger.
We're a Cinnamon Toast podcast.
Super
But
GG
can
Radio.
kids see why?
You got my cinnamon in your toast. I got my sugar in your cinnamon toast. I'm confused now. Where are we?
This is Super GG Radio, now with 20% more content and 60% more slander.
Does that math add up?
Yeah, it totally does. When you're working with negatives, everything's an improvement, right?
That's true. Nothing from nothing is nothing. You gotta have something.
We're not going to get something. But anyway, this week we triple dip in early adopters. Hope you guys played every game to completion. I know that I did. Try to help Alex get his groove back with the news. I'm really proud of that one. And we'll see what happens with the backlog. No one's playing games anymore. Starfield ruined it.
Playing a lot more games than I used to.
No, that's not true. Super GG Radio, now with less games.
What
are we
does
playing,
that make
Getty?
us then?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
We're all
It's just Super G Radio.
Okay.
No, we're only talking about the things adjacent.
Yeah,
The
this is an
things
adjacent
adjacent.
podcast. I'm
You guys
adjacent
remember Alex
to
Mack?
adjacent.
Alex Mack.
Wears a hat?
What?
You said Alex Mack.
Yeah.
Wears a hat.
Larissa Olenek.
Are you afraid the dark's been on loop in my house lately?
Weird.
Yeah, Tally's super into it. So
Did you guys try Bluey?
we did one Bluey, and
And?
it was very delightful, and I'm fine either way.
Okay.
Did you find the long dog?
What?
They'll get there.
In every episode, there's a hidden long dog that's just like a toy squeaker, long wiener dog
Uh-huh.
in the background.
All right. Good to know.
So did you
Nice.
find
I'm
it?
in like
Go back.
7 Facebook groups for Bluey.
Go find
Your
it right
kids
now.
are Your kids are not old, are old, like way older than for Bluey. Like they're too old for Bluey.
Yeah, they're kind of aged out at this point.
Not you. I'm talking to Alec.
Oh, I think mine might be too. Frankly, like we sat down with it and ended up just being me and Kelly after like 20 minutes. So
Your kids were not interested.
no.
Joe still likes it.
Getty and Lisa refused to watch it. They said they don't want to cry that much. They say they don't want to cry that much.
Lisa said that. Apparently one of our other friends watches it and cries all the time. All right. We're going to early adopters. Early adopters, where we play alphas, betas, and games that shine bright like a diamond. Rihanna, I'm not sorry. You can come after us too.
Don't say that. Rihanna will mess us up, man. Rihanna really messes up.
She smacked Michael Cera.
If you actually like hear the stories, people are fearful of her.
As they should be. She's a force of nature.
She's a queen bee.
Yeah, she's in the hood, and then like she goes into really scary places, and everyone is very afraid of her. She's got a weird reputation. That's the stories I've heard.
All right. So anyway, this week we played games. What games? I couldn't tell you. No, I'm just kidding. I definitely know. First one up. Which one? Did anybody not play any of these games? I need to know right now.
I did not play Twin Peaks.
Joel, what didn't
play
you
the
play?
Last Faith.
I did not play The Last Faith.
Oh, wow. Thanks, guys. I woke up
the
early on
beta
a
was
Sunday
over.
morning and played for 4 hours.
The beta was over.
Wasted my life.
Playing video games, man, that was rough.
Well, if I had known, I would have also not played it.
I think Alec played it.
Yeah, I played Last Faith.
Yeah.
Volatility.
This game was
Validity.
Validity.
Validity. This is a game that we played. Is there an L?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is an L.
Volatility.
Between two eyes.
It's volatile. It's volatile.
Volatility. Okay. I had to lean in extra far.
This game rules.
You guys like gems? What kind of gems do you like?
I like a pearl necklace.
That's got to be something. Come on.
That's up for Brok. That's up for Brok. Brok, you got to tell us. Does that get Alex some Lion King time? Brok, you make that call. Brok, you producer. You got a producer be Judge Judy on this one. Anyways, this game Volatility is a throw. These are all throwbacks. Like we're playing It's like Throwback Week, and then I also look for next week. It's also Throwback Week, so it's the Throwback Month. Throwback Month for us. This game is a PS1 as hell game. Everything is super like weirdly polygonal and lacking a lot of detail. There's a lot of games like this that have like I can't remember what all of them were, but it just reminded me of like a shooter / hack and slasher. And everything kind of looks like one big lumpy gray mass, but it was very fun. Okay. I liked there's a lot of movement puzzles, and like you get air dashes and trying to push, go like, if you have to dash through this ring, and you will unlock the door. Mm-hmm. And then there are enemies. You collect gems. There's upgrades, and then there's a boss. The boss is so that he's got weak points. You attack until the weak point opens up, and then you attack the weak point. Etc. Etc.
A lot of gems. Game opens up to a corpse falling through like this ceiling, and then a diamond just floats into the room, and it's like scanning. It's about to leave, and it's like, oh, hold on a second. Goes over to your corpse, and it's like, hey, let me help you out, and then just puts itself right on your head, and that's what gives you the ability to attack.
But you got cool, like, arm blades.
Yeah.
Is there anything more 90s than, like, arm blades?
No. There's absolutely nothing more 90s than that.
And then
I figured they were more like arm tonfas.
Yes. They were arm tonfas, but they seemed to cut and do some damage.
They're made out of diamonds. I feel like that's supposed to be, like, the overarching theme is that you get diamond. The ruby gives you gun powers.
Yes, you can shoot ruby gems at people.
And then your amethyst was dash ability.
Yeah. So it's a very fun just the reason why I kind of say like it also reminds me of PS1 games is that there was a lot of like PS1 games that were trying to like they were really trying to make their own like what is it called be a franchise where it's like, okay, here's some characters, here's a world, let's kind of hope for a franchise. And in this case, that's what it feels like, is that they give you the world, but there's like a gem, and he's like, oh hey, I can help you. Here you go. And no like backstory as to why just a corpse with no head just fell into like a weird sewer. And there's no need for exposition. It's just like, here, go ahead. Maybe we'll give you some story. Maybe not.
Let's have some fun.
Yep.
And you're zapping around and shooting stuff. Yeah, this is it's got good feels. A lot of good feels.
Yeah, it really does. And going back to the graphics and looks, like PS1 is a way to say it, but everything's got more texture than that. So everything's hard polygonal, but then the backdrops will have a lot more like texture and detail than what they did on PS1. So it's this interesting mix of that. Very interesting.
You remember Nightmare Creatures?
Yeah, that's
I remember
exactly
seeing
what I was
it.
thinking.
Yeah, what kind of game was that?
It was kind of like this.
Okay.
It was kind of like this, third-person action adventure game. Yes. With upgrades and stuff. Yeah, so this kind of reminded me of Nightmare Creatures in that way. I was just looking at like PlayStation 1 character action games, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good one. Like Tenchu was cool.
I remember.
Anyway.
I wanted to be good at that game.
Get good, man. That's all you
I
gotta do.
want to be good at a lot of games.
Were you good at this one, Getty? Were you good at Volatility?
I would like to think so. I made it all the way to the end. Didn't end up dying. I did the shooty shoot.
I was not good. I got to the boss and died.
Which one? The first one?
Yep, the sentry.
Yeah, okay. Getty, was there a second one?
No.
Okay.
This is a good try, though.
No, I was asking because I stopped after the first boss and I got the gems. I shot and I left.
Really? Mm-hmm. I thought that was one of the best parts. After you unlock your ruby, I went back and I upgraded my power on the ruby shot so that I could farm some crystals. Pew pew.
Cool.
Because I'm sure that's what everybody else does with demos. They go back and they farm materials. Alex isn't laughing. I feel like he might be right there with me.
Right now I'm looking at Danger Girl for PS1 based off the comic series. This also kind of looks like this game with the graphics. Very muddy. But that was cool.
Graphics aside, a lot of
No, I think that I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm saying that's an aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's an aesthetic.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good stuff that you see here, especially when you're using your ruby, you can switch from third person to first person. You can really see what you're shooting at. Did you guys... I know that Alex said he stopped after the boss, but did you try out that feature?
No.
Just me.
Yeah.
The what?
I'm the
Which
clown.
feature?
All right. When you shoot your ruby gun, you go from third person to first person.
Yes, you do.
So Alex did. There we go.
Yeah.
He's
I told you I
alive.
did the shooty shoot. I had to open the door.
He's mostly conscious, guys.
I'm spamming emotes in the chat.
Are you? Are you?
I'm not the only one. It's fine.
He is.
In the chat.
I hope that there's somebody else in there with you,
There is.
and you're not just talking to yourself.
No.
He got distracted.
It did. Also by the PS1 ideas, because I was looking at PS1 ideas, and I was like, man, where are some of the games? Because I liked Volatility. It gave me the right feels in the right spots. And that's why I'm looking it up, is because it made me have the nostalgia.
Okay.
None of the bad feels.
No, not particularly. It wasn't super difficult in a way that like I would get frustrated. It was difficult enough that I understood what I was doing, and then the first-person shooter is a neat idea. They give you a look around for it too, so they kind of preface it by, "Hey, take a look around, see some stuff."
Did you guys get a chance to play on controller, or was it only mouse and keyboard?
I think it was only mouse and keyboard.
Funny
Yeah.
you should say that.
Uh-huh.
I did an Alex, and I will explain that. I was playing with mouse and keyboard, and
Be holy now.
and
Lloyd's watching.
my remote was sitting on the desk, and when I would take actions, it would vibrate.
Nice.
I was like, wait, a second, what are you doing over there? And I picked it up and I was like, nothing's working. Nothing is happening here. And then I put it down, and then I did it some more. Oh,
what was that game for PS1 that had a separate vibrating controller you could plug in for player 2?
Boy,
Alex, use the Google.
I'm not going to Google this. That'll get me on some lists. More lists than I'm already not on.
Super GG Radio, now with 20% more Alex using Google. Bringing it
say
back.
20% more vibrating your friends.
Watch it, man. I don't want you to get in trouble too.
Paddington 2, he gets a hold of a trimmer for your hair, and he's like vibrating around the whole it was good. It was adorable.
Should we just make the episode Super GG Radio?
Do you guys want to do a Paddington? Do you guys want to do a Paddington 2 spoiler cast?
Now with 100% more Paddington Bear.
Oh man, we could do a boiler cast. Joel, are you in?
I'm always down for watching Paddington too.
Okay. I'm gonna run with this. For patrons only, a Paddington 2.
Oh yeah, because that's something that we have.
I'll do it.
Alex is
one
feeling
patron.
He's gonna find a way.
The lowest tier. I will make that happen.
Okay, so let's move on to The Last Faith, because we also played. Some of us also played The Last Faith this week.
What's that?
Well, let me tell you. Alec, tell him.
It is a Metroidvania that is also a Souls-like. Mm-hmm. You are in a gothic setting with...
I told you I'm not playing Blasphemous again.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it leans heavily into the same, vein as Blasphemous. So
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did it. You did it.
This one, so I haven't played Blasphemous 2 yet, but this felt a little more fluid than Blasphemous 1.
Yeah, not as bulky.
Yeah. That being said, like, I'm not digging Souls like. And I like to feel powerful up against normal enemies. So really I need to be playing different Castlevania or Metroidvanias.
Yeah. Very true.
Is this 2D?
It's 2D.
It is 2D.
Okay.
So Last Faith, when you open up the game, it goes like it's going to give you an option to select between 4 different characters. During the playtest, there was only one available. It was the Brawler. The Brawler has a sword, an axe, and then a couple of different magical abilities, some that you unlock through playing. I found myself using the axe a lot more, not because the sword isn't a good weapon, but it was easier to time attacks against enemies with the axe. I don't know if you had the same experience, Alec.
No, I was timing things better with the sword.
Okay. I was having trouble gauging distance with the sword, because I would go and try and hit stuff, and then it would not be in the same general area. So then I just switched to the axe, and I got up close and personal with the enemies.
Oh, man.
That works.
I'm seeing footage of this game. This is just... Oh, man, this is another Blasphemous. This is cool as hell.
Yeah.
It's gory, too.
It's pretty gory. How many of the... Did you have the experience of finishing off an enemy while you were playing?
Yeah, the
Musketeer.
flying bat.
Okay.
Oh, in the Musketeer, yeah, the old hunter.
Mm-hmm.
That was gory. You knocked him down, shot him with the boar round, and then stabbed him with the bayonet. It was great.
Yeah, I just saw that. That's messed up, man.
Is pretty messed up. And then the bat, like the flying gargoyle-esque creature, you rip his wings off. You just step on him and then rip. Both of the wings come right off.
And there's some verticality in these levels too.
There's a little bit. So I had a small snafu with it. I explored the entire right side of the map, and I mean the entire right side of the map. I got through it a couple of times, going back to the save point and like refreshing the monsters, thinking that I was missing something. Turns out that I just needed to go up in the first area. It was not abundantly clear, but I eventually closed out the map. What was available to play in this open beta? Closed
Yeah,
beta.
this is sick looking.
It was a beta of some sort.
You get some charge attacks.
It's a play test.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is talking about the play test. You get some charge attacks. You get multiple weapons that look pretty cool.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, you got the healing flask. Oh, this is so cool.
Yep, healing flask. The healing flask, you can find some laying around, but using that is the weird part. Using the rest spot doesn't refill your flask. You have to die in order to get a full allotment again.
Oh, that's
Oh, I never died.
Okay. I died
Whoa.
twice,
Okay.
but I still couldn't figure out what to do with the souls or whatever I was collecting.
Yeah, that currency.
I mean, granted, the character was already at level 20, so I feel like they just wanted to give you the experience of not having to worry about leveling up. It was just, it wasn't a bad experience. I would be interested to see what the other character classes play like. Again, the character isn't necessarily heavy, but the targeting on it can be a little tricky at times. I didn't get into the gun either. I felt like it was unnecessary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it felt underpowered.
Yeah.
He's pulled out a pistol and shot this boss in the face.
Yeah, I did not get to experience the full brunt of the boss that it teased me with. So after you make it through and you find all of the chains to break so that you can unlock the area, you just like walk into this house and this guy's like, "I'm gonna do it, man! I'm cracked out!" And you're like, "Dude, don't do it." And he's like, "I'm gonna!" And then he like shoots himself in the arm with something. And then it's like, "All right, now if you want to play against this boss, maybe you'll get into the next open play test." Like,
I'm watching this fight this man thing.
If you can't tell, podcast listeners, I'm giving the stink eye.
I'm giving I wish listed this just now.
All right, well maybe go play Blasphemous 2.
No,
because you have
Not
that.
again.
Right
There
now.
was that one like mini boss kind of.
Yeah, that thing was
the cold
fine.
shoulder.
Yeah.
He seems pretty cool. He reminds me of Man Bat from Batman, but he's only got one bat arm.
He was
Yes.
overly easy in my opinion.
Infection purged. That's what I have to say.
I didn't even consider him to be a boss because it was just like he ran into the wall, attack. He's running at you.
Yep.
Jump.
Dodge.
Oh, he was definitely a boss because he had one of those giant health bars and he was named.
He was an attempt at a boss. I like my bosses to make me cry.
Getty, we're not talking about what you like, Getty. That way.
Oh, I thought this was my podcast.
That's a private thing. Keep that private.
Nope. We already heard about Alex's favorite kind of jewelry, so.
Hey, I don't know what you guys are talking
Let's
about.
keep going. What else did we play? The Last Faith is great. I wish listed.
All right, Alex went ahead and wish listed The Last Faith. I am interested to know how much it's going to cost. Again, the multiple classes or characters that you could use definitely spike my interest, but still in development. We'll come back to it. The last thing that we played, or maybe we watched it, was Twin Peaks Into the Night. A small two-person studio went ahead and they took Twin Peaks and they turned it
footage.
into a PlayStation game.
The straight up ripped audio made me laugh so hard, but
Yep.
also at the same time, it just kept reminding me like, oh right, Twin Peaks kind of ruled.
Yep, so
I like
for
Twin
like the
Peaks.
first 5 minutes of the game, it was just like the show. With the audio from the show, and then they just like PS-ified all the scenes.
It was very funny because also there were parts it's like, do you want to interrogate this person? And I was like, sure. And it's like, here's lines from the show, pick one. And I was like, oh, okay. But then it's like, oh, and what about this? And then you kind of pick other stuff and there's no voice lines. So it's like, oh, they only they picked a lot of stuff straight from the show, but then also we're just like, oh, you want to talk about stuff that's not in the show? Okay, no audio lines for you.
Too bad.
And like, yeah, the images were like the image. They were straight images of those actors from the show, and then they just pixelified them up.
The whole aesthetic is kind of the Resident Evil kind of thing. Tank controls, talking to people. Apparently, your save point is not going to be a typewriter. It's going to be like a coffee machine.
Yeah,
Because he said something about loving coffee, and the demo said, "Oh, this feature's not supported in this demo." But
that's a very big staple of the show, is that he talks about how much he loves coffee and that amazing pie, to the point that there is a restaurant local to us called Twin Peaks. And someone
not the same
invited
thing.
me.
Not the same thing.
Yep.
That's
And
my.
I was like, someone
that's my
invited
ending.
me.
That's my ending to the segment,
Fine.
Alex.
I didn't read that far.
Stop it. Stop
No,
it.
but this is a true story. True story. Someone invited me there, and I went there, and then I got there, and I was like, I thought this was coffee and pie.
What was it?
Don't.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk
I'm
about it
gonna-
at the end of the segment.
You take everything that I love.
Keep going. So I love the idea that this is trying to be take controls.
Inventory. I want to talk about inventory.
Hit
When
me
you
with
open the inventory, there's a PlayStation 1 jewel case.
Oh yeah, of the show with it says Twin Peaks on it with the characters on it. Yeah, and then also there's a faux PS1 logo when you start up the game.
Yep.
But you open the jewel case and it's got the instructions, and it's like you took it out of the jewel case and you're flipping through. Oh,
That's awesome.
Is really good. It made me smile to see the level of detail that they added into just the cheesiest things.
Yeah, it's a fun one if you just want to do some, like, you're not even doing shooting. I mean, there's a pistol, so there might be some shooting, but for the most part, it's just you talking to people from the show, exploring the world in a PS1 like style level, and getting occasional large amounts of voice lines from the show, which is pretty cool. If you have not seen Twin Peaks, it's a weird one. So many games have been based off of Twin Peaks, or like inspired by Twin Peaks.
Alex is going to run
Really?
through all of them.
Yeah.
Alan
examples.
Wake.
Alan Wake.
Control.
I mean, Control. What is that? The Evil Within 1 and 2. Deadly Premonition.
Okay.
Deadly Premonition 1 and 2 is almost directly just Twin Peaks. Let me see. There's a lot of them here. I'm trying to find a list. Disco Elysium is a little bit. Rusty Lake. The Rusty Lake series is a bunch of Twin Peaks references. There's a lot of them, yeah. Yep, there's a lot of different weird ones. Twin Peaks, not Twin Peaks. Disco Elysium. The connection there. It's about a small town cop who goes to, a cop that goes to a small town and finds that there's something weird going on. Is there mystical stuff going on? You don't know. Maybe. And this is also where like X-Files came after this.
Yep.
Oh,
the
this
same-
is the precursor, huh?
I mean, they're not connected, but it's generally, yes, people accepted that, okay, this is X-Files prequel.
Same kind of idea. Special agent. Out and about.
Yep. And
Run into weird
real
stuff.
And he's real quirky. Kind of like Mulder and Scully.
Both of them. With two
Both.
Fs.
Bofa.
No.
Who... Does anybody else want to throw anything into Twin Peaks?
I think this is a fun thing that if you like Twin Peaks, you should check it out on itch.io. It's just called like what, Twin Peaks Into the Night.
Into the Night.
It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool
Before
one.
it gets DCMA'd.
Yes, before lawyers get a hold of it. I've already said it to certain people who are, let's say, doing a Twin Peaks rewatch podcast.
Make sure to keep it installed. You're not going to be able to reinstall it again if it goes
No,
down.
I got that file.
Okay.
That file saved.
All right. So, there is a restaurant named Twin Peaks. And it's nothing like the show. So let me explain what it is in the break Now that Alex is already, yeah. Let's go. News this week. We got some stuff that happened. Not all of it good, not all of it bad. So let's do this. Volition goes under. Volition Studio, the developers for Saints Row, that new Saints Row, and the old Saints Row.
How bummed are you, Getty?
Pretty bummed. I enjoyed that remake. I'm gonna call it a remake.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It's a very cute romp into the world of Saints Row. But yeah, I know that they didn't get enough backing. People were really not impressed by it, so, and they really not working on anything else. It just sucks.
Was Volition their own independent business, or were they owned by a bigger publisher?
I don't know. Let me find out.
Alex is using Google. Everybody take a shot.
Embracer Group.
Okay. So floating around somewhere, that IP will exist, but since everybody's making it is getting unjobbed, I guess it's not really
unjobbed.
What's the bummer about it is the fact that, like, they kind of do a whole gross thing where they're like, it's going to strengthen our company and it's going to give us more focus and blah, blah. It's like, none of this is good, man.
No. Makes me
Not
sad.
good.
Say they're not talking to us; they're talking to shareholders.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, the only thing I hate more than shareholders is another studio going down. What is this? Me.
They are a CRPG group. They have done things like Desperado 3 was a recent one. They actually have a hit right now called Shadow Gambit.
Okay.
Which is very much like an XCOM, but you're like cyberpunk pirates. They've done a lot of good games. And they've had like kind of hits, but they just said that they're struggling to focus on mental health. They kind of put it as like, we're an independent studio and we just need to focus elsewhere.
Yeah.
They did Shadow Tactics as well.
A lot of pressure.
They just couldn't make the money work in a way that wasn't crunching.
Yeah, man, you work so hard on that stuff, and then are you going to be able to make it big? Are you going to make the sales that you need in order to stay afloat? It's tough.
They were, but it was barely.
Yeah. So the difference between, being able to live comfortably and take those breaks so that you can focus on yourself, and just barely scraping by where you need to be working nonstop in order to maintain, extra sucky.
Exactly. Which, both these teams worked really hard on their games, and you just really hope that everyone lands on their feet.
Yep. All right. We're chugging right along here. PlayStation Plus getting a 30% price hike.
This is on the 1-year subscription.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this and I was like, well, crap. Mine's about to run out, and I want to finish Remnant 2 with Getty. So I bought the year on the price, because it's still, if you buy the year on the website, the price is still the same. If you buy it off of Amazon, it's jacked up already.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I bought it on the PlayStation Store, and I was like, okay, this is probably going to be my last year.
Okay.
Because I'm not playing online very much.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just like the option to play online.
yeah.
That, and at this point, I have so many of those free games that I will go back and pick at that I like to keep them around. At least for now.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. So I mean, I love that I get them, but I'm saying I'm not picking them up.
I mean, you have
but I'm not.
a big enough Steam library that you got to cope with, so.
Yeah, I know, and then plus like Game Pass, which I'm also letting that one lapse just because I found that I went almost a straight year without playing a Game Pass game.
Yep.
Wow, that's messed
wow.
up, man.
So that's what I mean, though, is that like I'm not playing the PlayStation Plus games. I'm not playing the Game Pass games. I'm playing my own games. I should probably just like take a break on those and then come back to it later.
Oh, man.
I mean, also, Game Pass upped its price.
No, that's
I
not
mean,
true.
They got rid of the deal.
Yeah.
Is what I was using.
Yeah. Where you were able to somehow scam it so that you didn't have to pay close to anything, right?
Yep.
All right. So maybe go re-up your sub right now if you can. Don't want to be paying extra. Next up, complete Borderlands collection. 6 whole games coming to the Nintendo Switch. Wait, coming to everything, including the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, I don't know if I could switch.
I bought the Borderlands collection on Switch, and I was like, I don't know. Me and you started playing it on PC again, and I was like, well, I don't think I'm going to do this, so I sold it back again.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that it's funnier. How many of these Borderlands? This is the Borderlands Ultimate Collection, the Vault Hunter Collection, and now it's the what is it called? Pandora's Box Collection.
Pandora's Box Collection.
So it's pretty funny that they keep making new games and then keep remaking a collection. Supposedly only $30, I think. So
It's kind of like when you have one of those old classic rock bands where they've had 2 or 3 different greatest hits albums, just because somebody put an earmark that like, 3 albums in, we better do our greatest hits. Okay, now 7 albums in, here we go. Oh, you're all about to die, so we'll do this uncut greatest hits with a bunch of live tracks kind of thing.
Which is funnier because the greatest hits don't ever really change. They never did more greatest hits than the first 3 albums, and it's like, we've got 7 albums now. Here's our greatest hits, and it's like, this is just mostly the first 3 albums. Okay.
Well, and the really insidious thing they do is they will remove one of the greatest hits songs from one of the other albums, so it'll be like 2 other Garbo songs that nobody really cares about, but then Hotel California was only on this other greatest hits album.
Wow, this is oddly specific now that you
I was about to
song.
say that. You got real specific on that one. You got beef, man.
Who hurt you?
The Eagles.
The Eagles. I hate the Eagles, man. Lebowski over here.
All right.
Love it, Joel. Keep that hate alive. Just sip the haterade. Taste it. It's smooth.
Next up. I don't know that this is going to have too much of an impact because we've already said that this year for games is already lit. But Suikoden 1 and 2 release delayed to next year, 2024 on that.
It's pronounced Suikoden.
Sokidan.
I always called it Suikoden when I was growing up.
Pronounced
Yep.
Rise.
Suikoden. That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, this year is too much as is. We don't need this right now.
Alex still has
Suikoden,
games from the
chill.
beginning of the year that he hasn't finished. How was he going to finish these?
These are really just for me. These are really just ways for me to buy them again so that I know that if anything goes wrong and there's an apocalypse, I could still play this game.
Nah, you'll still need internet access.
I hope not. I also have it installed on a PSP or on a Vita somewhere, so
Somewhere out there.
it's in my drawer. It's my bedside drawer. Always ready to go. In case the apocalypse. I told you.
Still pretty sure internet's going to be a problem. Also, probably electricity will be a problem, too.
Nah. He's got that figured out.
I got a
Do
generator.
you have an electricity guy?
Oh, I need one of those. I have a sewage guy, but not an electricity guy.
Wow. Just wow.
Yeah, I got to get back on my game.
You know what, Alex?
Okay.
After a decade, Warframe goes cross-progression. This only impacts you.
I'm actually excited for this. I might come back to this now. Now, hold on.
You know what people
I
are...
forgot that. Hold on. I forgot that there was that other piece of news here, but then there we go.
You know what people are definitely going to come back to? Warframe 1999.
There's a new Warframe game. They have not given much info except for it looks like it's... What was the game I was playing that I didn't really like that was like Warframe before Warframe? Some glaive.
Yeah.
You had a glaive and you were shooting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It looks like that, but updated and modernized with now Warframe language in there, and that's pretty funny to me. It looks like a modern day shooter, but it kind of also just looks like that game and Warframe mixed together, and I'm like, that's pretty funny. That they would say, here's Warframe in 1999, and it's like, well, yeah, I guess that was another game, right? Now I gotta
reinstall Warframe, guys.
Dark Sector.
Dark Sector?
Yeah, that was for the 360.
360.
And this looks like Dark Sector, and that's pretty funny to me.
Speaking of old games, Lara Croft, the next guest character on Call of Duty.
Yeah,
that's all. I'm not doing anything else with that. I'm just saying that out loud.
It's more just like for me that now the Fortnite-ification has been in full. This is like the third or fourth like Call of Duty game where it's just like, oh, by the way, you could also play as Godzilla and the Titans from Attack on Titan and Snoop Dogg. Crazy. And it's like, Call of Duty? Like you have the Titans from Attack on Titan in there? And so now, like, they started off the new Call of Duty, they're like, now rapper Nicki Minaj is in the game. It's like, what? And also, what's the villain from The Boys?
Homelander?
Homelander is in Call of Duty, and you could get a power-up where you get eye vision and murder all the people in Call of Duty. And now they're going to add Lara Croft, and I'm like, man, there's a lot.
You did
There's a lot going. There's a lot of cross-pollination here, and I kind of love it because it just feels like a weird mess of nothingness and also everything at the same time. It's like, oh, John Cena's going to be in the game? Sweet. Weird.
Is this the plot to Ready Player One?
No.
Yeah, kind of.
No, it's not.
Like, we're getting to that point where everyone's just like, oh, you want to put Mega Man in Call of Duty? Go for it. Yeah.
That's not the plot, though.
Well, I mean, everything is kind of everything, right?
The plot was that kid was poor, and he was living in a trailer park, and he finally figured out the secret. Never mind. I'm not explaining the book or
Ready Player One sucks.
The movie.
Like, let's get past that. Just get past it.
I'm not explaining that to you.
Fair enough.
I'm
not alright.
Alex, what's your classical literature training like? How much did you do of that?
He is not classical literature. Like, let's not do this.
No. I was saying, like, do you know the different elements of a story?
Oh yeah, the hero's journey.
I know there's a climax.
Alec, like, you gotta play so much Lion King.
No, he's right though. Unfortunately, he's right, and you have offered nothing to the conversation, Alex.
I said the hero's journey, the reluctant hero.
No, that's
the denial of the call. The denial of the call.
Those are tropes, man.
Those aren't.
But that's all part of classic
a rising
literature.
Action, a climax, or the.
But is mine a thing in classic literature? Yes, it is.
It's a trope. It's not.
This White Claw is only strengthening my argument.
It's only strengthening your blood alcohol content.
What's next, Getty?
I don't know anymore. I'm thinking about just ending it.
We're talking about the podcast, right?
You're talking about the news.
I just don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. New Rugrats. New Rugrats. Do kids still know what Rugrats is?
That's the question.
I got my kids on it.
Nice.
So new Rugrats platformer game with NES mode and modern mode.
The NES mode looks real good. It looks a lot like Curse Crackers. It looks a lot like Curse Crackers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've watched Rugrats no lie, within the last week, and even then I was like, I don't know if I love this anymore.
No. It was definitely like B tier Nickelodeon.
I mean, I used to be like, that used to be my favorite. That and Doug, and then it just kind of like, watching it now, I'm like, yeah, these jokes are real. These are dad jokes for sure.
So they resonated with you?
No.
That's a yes. All right. Ooh, we got some 1.0s this week.
Yeah.
How to Escape goes 1.0.
This is an escape room experience that requires 2 people. You need to be locked in a room. One person is in the room, the other person's out the room, and the puzzles are on either sides of the room, but the answers are on the other side of the room. One person on the game, one person on their phone.
Nice.
So keep talking and nobody explodes?
Yes. Yes. Very much so. That game rules. But How to Escape looked really cool, and I've been watching it for a while.
Okie dokie, artichoke. And then
Maybe for Extra Life.
It's a Wrap goes 1.0. We played that here.
Yeah, we did. And we also did a beta breakdown on TikTok. A TikTok on it.
Okay.
Yep.
Go check out that
Good for them.
TikTok.
Yep. Tickety Talk.
And you don't stop. Oh, my favorite part of the podcast.
I'm not ready. Go ahead.
Freebies.
Freebies.
Free.
Insert the freebie sound here.
Woo. So free.
Freebies.
Freebies. First up,
So free.
we got Cave Story Plus over on the Epic Game Store. You said you're not ready for this?
I am ready for this now.
Do you need help with Cave Story while I have this
Yeah.
open? Okay,
Tell me about Cave
I
Story.
can also read the blurb that's on here.
do both.
That is
Oh
an
my
older
gosh, this
indie
is-
game.
This is
Yes, it is.
something else.
The plus means it's like the updated version.
Arguably the most well-known indie game of all time. I don't know about that, but Cave Story Plus features an original story brimming with personality, mystery, and fast-paced fun. Run, jump, shoot, fly, and explore your way through a massive adventure reminiscent of classic 8 and 16-bit games. I would qualify this as an action-adventure platformer.
Yeah.
I'm just reading.
The reason why it's kind of one of those classics is because it was around I think the Xbox Live Arcade, and because of that, it was one of those ones up with Meat Boy and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was definitely that same wave of indie games. I remember it was a big one that was vaunted by the Nintendo people back in the day, because it was one of those that ended up on the Wii when the Wii wasn't getting all that much indie stuff.
Wii.
Wee.
I spelled that with
I'm trying to
eyes.
translate while you guys are messing around.
Trying to translate. All right, next one up. Snapback over on Steam.
Snapback is a speed runner puzzle platformer set in a robot dystopia where you are recruited to rebel against the evil GovCorp overlords. Break the rules and join the resistance. You're doing puzzles and doing parkour through different mazes and levels to try to get back at GovCorp. You're a first-person shooter that's a robot, so robot it up, Snapback style.
Wasn't there a similar game to this last week?
Maybe I did it twice. There could have been an overlap. I told you there was a lot of Steam games for free this last
He's just giving
there
it
was-
away.
There's that one where you're the robots are
Yes, that's the Can Rebellion one.
yeah.
I got that one too. I put that one in my back pocket. That's in my Steam list. It's a good one. Getty, you ready?
No. Are you?
Yeah, hit me.
Project Sphinx over on Steam.
Were you not tired of first-person puzzlers? Project Sphinx. You are this is Portal-like, but you're again first-person robot, and you have a little shooter puzzle.
Portal-like?
Yes, you're shooting portals.
Really?
With your little robot hand. And like any great robot, you're going to have to explore, teleport, and ricochet around the base, in which each room and corridor is a puzzle to solve. Project Sphinx. Came out this year in July. Boom.
Somebody needs to make a true Portal-like now.
Joel, play this game and tell me how Portal-like it is.
No.
Joel, are you playing it?
He might be playing it.
Are you playing that Flash game from like 6 weeks ago
I neither confirm
that you spent
nor
the rest of
deny.
the episode playing?
Yeah,
Did
for a
you?
browser-based game, that was pretty good, actually.
Which game was that?
That was the Fortnite kind of thing.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
What about Project F?
Project F.
Tactical first-person shooter that features 5-on-5 team battles over defensive targets in an auto-generated map. All maps are generated. All maps are random. For each match, never to be encountered again.
On Steam.
Now in early access.
It's still on Steam.
Yeah, this actually looks kind of cool. It's like a little first-person team shooter, but all the maps are just randomized.
Last one. I Am Landlord over on Steam.
I don't know what this game is. The description is written in Chinese, but it looks like you make apartment buildings. You design them, rent them out, and then you make money because you are the landlord. I think I sold that one.
Oh, yeah?
I think I sold that to the people listening.
I am the landlord.
I am the landlord.
Yeah, you're building
It does
apartments.
not
You're putting...
support the English language. Like, there's no English in this game.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean,
okay, I am landlord.
There's
Somebody
no
play this.
title.
It is absolutely Chinese. Google AI told me it's Chinese, but they could not translate it.
Google AI.
Stop feeding the AI.
Yeah.
I'm only going to feed the AI.
Don't do
But I
it.
feed it after midnight.
And you probably
That's
get it
what the
wet
old-
too.
That's the opposite of what you're supposed to do.
That's what the old Chinese man told me to do. Oh, well, he might have told me not to.
I don't know that you should say any of that, so, yeah.
You really need to stop playing with all these gizmos.
Was Gremlins racist?
Was
You
it?
made it. You made
I'm
it.
asking.
racist.
No, I'm asking what. As somebody who's not seen the movie in a while, I want the context of why it may or may not be racist.
Oh, because Getty said, you don't want to keep saying that because I said the old Chinese man told me to feed him after
Do you
midnight.
know for a fact that he was Chinese?
I guess I don't. I only assumed.
So Gremlins isn't racist.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, no.
That's what I was saying. You know what? Moving fast. Faces pass. Let's go ahead and take a break. It's my turn. And we're back. We're back with the Backlog Blog where we play games we hope are getting a sequel. Hey guys, you heard about that Final Fantasy 1?
It's a real soft voice he had there, Getty.
I know. I was channeling my...
well, you know, by giving it a 1, you know that there's going to be a sequel. You ruined it.
You've ruined the suspense.
Did I?
It's all a farce. There's
Final
never a
Fantasy Pixel
I don't
Remaster, the
think there's-
original?
I don't think there's technically a 1 in the name.
Who put a 1 here?
I didn't write this down. Somebody else did that.
Oh, yeah, sure. Uh-huh. Blame everybody else.
What?
We were playing
What?
a lot of Sea of Stars this last couple weeks, and that also made me... Like, I was on the same page as you, as that at some point I was like, I don't want to bring my Steam Deck somewhere. But I'm playing Sea of Stars, and that kind of makes me feel like I would need a taste for some Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So I also have been picking away at an hour or two every once in a while at Final Fantasy 1. That game is real pretty with the pixel remastered, you got to admit.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. And if you've seen any screenshots of the original game, it's night and day. Like it used to have those, like the combat screens are so funny for that game because it's basically just like a black screen with your characters and the monster, right? And how much detail that they've added into this thing where everybody moves when they attack. The spells actually have effects on the screen that shine and shimmer, and a lot of really nice touches. I think I prefer this to something like Octopath's like 2D HD kind of thing. It's so crisp and clean and bright, but it doesn't fundamentally change the way the games look.
And see, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I will say that these are games I'm wholly familiar with, so I don't think I would want them changed. Mm-hmm. Octopath is okay for me because it's such a unique and separate property.
Right.
But man, this is one of those games that I'm like, I'm not gonna. There's no way I could ever play this without volume. Like I play a lot of video games. Completely sound off, just kind of zoning, and it's like I can't play this with the sound off. The music's too good, and even it's the same song, and I'm like, man, that's a jam every time.
You orchestrate something that you're fond of like that. It's like the renditions for Sonic Mania, right? For Green Hill Zone, Act 2 or whatever. This game, it struck me that I wasn't familiar with how the magic worked in this game compared to the few I had before. In Final
it's much more akin to like Dungeons and Dragons.
Is that right?
It is extremely limited.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so the
you have
whole
spell
concept, you have
slots.
like different level spells, and you only have the ability to use certain level of spells a number of times before you run out of usage. Mana is still used to refill and all that, but it's that funny standard thing where the farther you get into the game and you're getting like level 5, 6, 7 spells, and you're using all of those up real quick, you'll have a situation where it's like, now everything below this I've got full mana to do, but like it's not useful anymore, so it's kind of meaningless at that point. But no,
Now, something that this got with the quality of life was they introduced ethers.
Okay, so that was not...
Those were...
Yeah,
those did not exist in the original rendition of the game.
All right, yeah.
You didn't... Because it being a spell slot situation, I think were they just limited to the amount of times you could use it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then, like, you have to get if your character dies, you have to get a priest. You have to go to a church.
Yep.
You gotta get a priest.
Need an old priest and a young priest.
Yep. So I definitely am like enjoying it, despite the, where do I go next? I don't know. You'll figure it out. Go to a place till a thing happens. You go to a place and they're like, not here. Oh, sweet. Okay. You got any other advice for me?
I mean,
Nope? Okay.
It's got some of those qualities that are kind of Metroidvania to it, where you go until you reach an area, and then it opens up something new. The biggest part is once you get the airship, then everything is open to you, and you're kind of just like, well, okay, I'll go everywhere I haven't already been to. You did figure out what the brooms were saying, right?
Brooms?
Yes, in Matoya's cave, they're talking backwards, and they say push B select. And that gives you a map of the world.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
When Joel said his characters were grown up, and then like 15 minutes later, he's like, man, this last boss is tough. I was like, I think I spent a lot more time after my characters changed classes, like grinding, and then going to that last boss.
Yeah, chaos.
I was in the level 40 range when I got to him. But it was... It's strange about this game is that there got to be a point where like I didn't know where I was going, and I hadn't bothered to rely on any sort of walkthroughs at that point. And then I finally made progress, and you just end up steamrolling everything that you run up against for the next like 5 hours because of how much you ended up grinding levels. To the point where I started using the no encounters, not as like I'm gonna cover for myself, but just as a like
They get tedious.
I'm wasting time doing this when I know
Yeah.
I can beat everything I'm gonna walk through. So it got to be funny that the end sequence, you end up fighting the 4 bosses of the crystals and then going to fight Chaos after that. And in that last run, I had no problem with the other 4 by that point. Like I had no problem just downing them quick. But then Chaos is a nightmare, and I'm pretty sure I just got the luck of the draw that I won, because his spell countdown and his one-time hits will just knock out your teammate entirely without issue. It was
What you
wild.
know about Chaos?
No, a little bit.
You should play Final Fantasy Strangers in Paradise.
What's that?
Strangers of Paradise.
Oh, is that PlayStation 4? No.
Devil May
You know
Cry
what,
like
that's
game.
fine. It can
Yes.
be PlayStation 4.
Okay.
But that game kind of predates this game in a way that, like, at the end, like, it's one guy looking for Chaos.
Yeah.
And it turns out Chaos was the friends he made along the way.
Yeah.
But they're playing with a funny amount of like maybe all these games do this, but time travel-ish kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a common thing through the series?
Not necessarily time travel, but
no.
it gets bonkers at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, because 2 is a Civil War. 3 is the first time they introduced crystals and job changes.
Well, crystals
4
were in 1.
Well, the crystals for the job changes,
Oh, okay.
specifically
Okay.
with the classes and everything. Because there was more than just the 4.
8 had time travel.
Okay.
Did it?
That
You'd
yeah,
have
that
time
one's on
travel.
my that's what's still on my playlist sometime here.
8's excellent. It's a really good game. It's just really long, I think.
And also easy to break.
To a certain extent.
I'm trying to think if there's any other time travel games. I don't think that 9 doesn't. 10 technically
Nope.
kind of doesn't, or does, depending on your opinion.
15 doesn't have time travel, but there's a time jump.
There's a pretty big time jump, like 15 years, but yeah, no, that doesn't count.
What about 11?
11's an MMO.
11's
12 does not
yep.
have time travel.
13.
No.
Okay.
No time travel.
That one
Nope.
might have time travel.
No, but 13.3.
No, 13, the first one, some of the characters are from the past, right?
Oh, you know what? You're
So
right.
maybe
no, they're
it's-
from the future. They're from the future.
No, I think they're from the past. 10 has
Is it?
fake time travel.
Yeah. I didn't think that.
4 has Moon Whale.
Yeah, but anyway, there's always, Alec and I discussed this in our Final Fantasy one-off. There's usually something that's just completely bonkers that happens in the story.
All right. So
I mean, the other parts, it's like at a certain point, like these are like part of the tropes of RPGs. Where at the end, it's like, okay, you're just gonna fight God. Noted. So, and that's and they've and Final Fantasies have been like patient zero for that.
got it. So yeah, I didn't put this on, but I had rolled credits. I'm glad I played the experience. I will not be afraid to consult a walkthrough if I need to on that game, and probably 2, which I started up here this evening.
Oh snap!
So, well, just opening sequence, nothing sincerely, but I am curious to go ahead and dive into that next and see what the changes are. Just
You have my copy of 15.
I do.
Final Fantasy 2 is really interesting because they don't do levels.
Yeah, I already noticed there was a couple changes to just like the menu interactions with people too. Like it would have like a use item option to all the people I talk to, as well as conversation separate things. So I'll be really curious to see how that plays out.
It's a fun series. And what inspired it really was our playing of Sea of Stars.
Did it?
Sea of Stars, another game that people have played this week.
Yeah. Joel beat it for review for on our website, superggradio.com.
How many hours?
How many hours? I think I hit about 30.
30?
Towards completion. Now, granted, I've had a couple idle pieces of time, but I would say 25 to 30 is probably a fair run time if you're not focusing on much of the side stuff and just going story beat to story beat.
Oof.
So
That doesn't settle it for me.
no, but it feels like a very brisk 25 to 30 hours
All right.
for someone like me who doesn't do a lot of longer form RPG games like this. Persona was a real tall climb, as good as that was, and it's nice to have a smaller, more condensed RPG. And this one is brisk. The story beats happen.
It moves, right? It just really moves.
It moves real quick. Yeah, the pace is quick, but also the progression of the combat systems are quick. Because you'll start with sort of that basic foundation of this looks like the Chrono Trigger combat where you have to walk to the enemies to initiate a fight, and then each people have their turns, and then you have combos and the like. But from the outset, they've got that timing-based attack system, kind of like the, I guess Paper Mario is the good example, where you have to actually like time the hits, and it'll tie into a combo system where when you correctly time those hits, it'll add to this meter, and then you get to meter levels 1, 2, or 3, and if you have these combo moves unlocked between two characters, you spend that currency, it then lets you do those moves. Very, very smart stuff with that. There's also...
I want to say that the the smart part about that is that to do spells and attacks, you waste MP.
Yeah.
And doing base melee attacks gets you your MP back. The combo points get wiped clean per battle. So really the game, like, use your combos, use your spells and abilities. If you're not doing that, you're wasting time. Because you could attack... Because I'm doing melee attacks just to do melee attacks. I could be regenning mana after I just did a really powerful spell. You really they're encouraging you. Use your abilities, get this done. And that is what I like, because most games I'm always afraid to waste or use my abilities, and I don't want to have any problems. Oh, I'm going to save it. I may need it later. No, you don't.
Yeah, I got bit once there. I was saving up a 2-slot combo. I had one enemy left, and I was trying to heal everybody using my combo. And there's no defend option.
No.
Nope.
You have to attack.
You could do the if they attack you, you could do the Paper Mario defend button, and you'll take less damage.
Right. But I had this combo point saved up that I wanted to use for healing, but the one enemy was gonna die if I attacked it, so I had no choice.
Yeah, you got to either use an item.
Yeah.
Or nothing.
Oh, I could have used an item.
Yeah.
Items.
But
your best friends.
But there's also a break system in the combat where it'll show you how many turns an enemy has before they do an attack on a counter. Some of them will be tied to a roulette wheel that'll spin, and it'll show different attack types that you need to execute on them before that counter runs out. So, for example, it might be something to the effect of, this enemy has a 2-turn combo counter, and you need to do 1 sun damage and 2 moon damage to break that, otherwise they're going to do a big powerful attack on you. And you had to go through the effort of finding the right teammate to do the right move on it, and then also do it within that time frame. And you even have some cool side things where one of your characters might be able to hurt an enemy, but also sort of like bump the number of turns you have left on it. Or different ways to get multi-attacks so that you are clearing the ledger quicker across a bunch of people. So,
at a certain point, your melee starts knocking out magic like points like in the battlefield, and you could. So, for instance, my sun attack character, if there are magic points on the field, I can absorb those. That adds sun to my attack. So now if the roulette wheel had sun and like his attack, I could just do that and it knocks 2 things instead of 1 off the roulette wheel, and then it could stop their attack.
And something that's really cool about the roulette wheel is it can completely stop them from executing their combo, their magic attack. But even if you don't clear it out to stop them, it reduces the efficiency of what they're doing. So it makes their attack still weaker. So it's worth it even if you can't clear it out.
Yep.
And the music is good. The characters are fun. It's just it pulls you and pulls you and pulls you. It doesn't waste time, and that's what I really like. Is that I was like, okay, I'm gonna play this for a bit, and then after a while, I'd be like, man, I'm still just going, and I'm still going, and I'm in a completely different situation than I was
In life?
like 20 minutes ago. I was hanging out with pirates. And then, within 20 minutes, I'm like, I'm in a haunted mansion, weird, with zombies. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, and that's what I mean.
Sounds like the locales get real fun.
Yeah,
They do, and
it's
there are some actually really visually stunning, striking moments, especially later on. There are a few times you're introduced to a space, and it just really pops, and it has just the right kind of music to accompany it. The music's really great because they really knew how to marry the music, the look, and the story to hit the right story beats effectively. But
Can you marry 3 people?
depends on what state
where
you're
you
in.
live. Yeah.
state.
But I am a little surprised that Alex undersold the element of the music, because we backed it on Kickstarter when they first announced that it was going to be done, and I believe that the composer that worked on it is the very same that worked on Chrono Trigger.
Yep.
So that was one of the things where I was like, oh man, this is super cool. Like, you're going to have legit music for this game, and it already has that aesthetic. I got so stoked on it. That's why I've been anticipating this game for like years. It's literally been years since I threw down the cash for it. I've played the least amount out of everybody here. But yeah, Joel hit it right on the head. Like, the combination of all 3 of just the things that you experience, even from the opening sequence, are just so cool. And it is that game which hits the nostalgia notes, and you're like, oh man, I want to go back and I want to experience this all for the first time. It's real good stuff, guys.
There's been very few
fun.
games like this where I haven't had an unlikable character in the party. And when I played this game, there was not one character that I played as or talked to that bothered me or found annoying. Like, I think they're all very likable. The story goes places, and everybody has an important role to play in it. And I really couldn't say nicer things about it. I think it's one of the best games this year.
Now, you say that because you liked the abilities too, or just the characters were all pleasant? Like, you didn't feel like, man, that guy's a jerk, or
I was talking about the latter, but in combat as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
I know sometimes you get the characters where you're like, this guy's tolerable, but then they're like useless, absolutely useless in combat.
no, there's no characters that are useless. They definitely have their purposes and right time and place to use them. Right. But the way that the swapping out works, it's all live, so you don't have to take a turn to swap a character out. It's just on the fly that turn. You can switch it to the chef and have him do his healing move, and then swap out the next turn for somebody else. So I'm very satisfied with that. There's some cool abilities and moves you gain later on that are really cinematic and awesome. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun.
And Joel, what did you review it? What was the ranking?
S, if we're gonna do fighting game conventions here. If we're doing numbered,
So
it's
that's
7
like
out of 10.
9 stars, 10 stars. Wait, what was it? 7 out of 10?
7 out of 10.
Okay.
What? I'm very confused.
So worse than Starfield, huh?
Oh, don't get me started on Starfield, because I've absolutely played that game. Sure.
I don't know. I thought that if you bought the premium edition, you could be playing right now.
I'm pretty
Good.
sure.
Instead, we're doing a podcast.
No, he's playing Starfield right now. How dare you?
Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
I will say that I agree with everything that Joel said. This game is close to one of the it's close to, if not the top game I've played this year.
What? Alex, you've played dozens of games this year.
Yep, I
You've
have
played approximately 26
I've
to completion. No, 25 to completion.
There we go. And I've also played so many other ones that I have not completed.
Why not? What's stopping you?
Life.
Yourself. The answer was yourself. You're the one who's stopping yourself.
There you go. But either way, this is probably the best game I've played this year.
It's a tall order.
What I love is that we had a big debate last episode about why this would be in the Backlog Blog and why it should be in early adopters instead.
Well, now it's out.
And now it's in the Backlog Blog.
We needed something, Joel. That's the answer.
1 week
We
of
needed
difference.
something.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
We needed something in the slot.
Whatever's
Alex
convenient.
said that
Yeah.
he's upset at his workhorse because he doesn't have content this week. I'm not apologizing.
That's not what it is.
Yeah,
More than
it is.
I haven't focused. I haven't played enough of something that is worth talking about, except for Sea of Stars. I really like Sea of Stars, and I really like Final Fantasy.
Oh, I'm so tired.
Literally what I've been playing this week.
I'm so tired.
Okay.
Everybody's fine. They're content with what they've done today.
Hell yeah.
I'm not proud.
Oh, well.
I'd give it a 7 out of
There
10.
you go.
7.5. We got to be better than Starfield.
No, nothing's better than Starfield. Game of the Year 2023. Nope, take that back. Game of the Year 2024 Starfield.
It'll be better by then.
Probably. Let's do this. Let's take it to one last thing. And this week's one last thing is brought to you by Chonky Pokemon. Guys, give me a round Pikachu, and I'm in heaven. Ooh.
Gross.
No, it's not gross.
I'm not potty shaming.
Is that like elephant mode for the new Super Mario Brothers game?
Ooh, that's
it's kinda
Chunky Mario.
It's kind of like mouthful mode from Kirby. Mo rounder,
Yep.
mo better.
It's a real chunky Kirby. It's not good for his health.
Hey guys, this is the holiday weekend coming up. I hope to play some games? Question mark. I'd probably some Armored Core. I'm gonna try and invest some time in Armored Core this weekend.
I don't know. I hear you're supposed to be at short fuse.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I also hear that you're supposed to be playing. What is it?
Like 4 other games that I completely got waylaid by stupidity this last week and wasn't able to get onto any gaming system. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alex?
I'm just happy that I'm not racist. Turns out there was a Gremlins prequel
Hold on.
based out of Shanghai.
You would have to
with his
explain
owner.
everything that goes with that.
What? That he learns that it's a martial arts movie? You're supposed to be playing Virgo versus the Zodiac.
And?
That's all I got down for you.
Really? That's not right.
It's called Gremlins, Secret of the Mogwai. Oh, they're fighting other gremlins. Yeah, you know what? That's fine. Okay. Yep. I'm learning all about this. I'm going to watch this movie now.
It's a TV show. Joel?
Sam Wing. 10-year-old Sam Wing, who was the owner of him in Shanghai. So, calling him Chinese was okay.
So the Lion King?
Cool.
That's
Yes.
what I
4
gotta play?
hours. 4 hours.
Is there a certain system I need to play it on?
Whatever you have it on.
I mean...
To stream. You gotta stream it.
Okay.
And if there's varied versions, you got to play the Sega Genesis version.
Is that worse?
And
Oh,
yes, there are a couple of Disney, like back in the day, there were varied versions of games. So you'd get there was an SNES version that was very different than a Sega Genesis version. They were just completely separate games.
Okay. All right.
It's like Aladdin was a very fun platformer on the Sega Genesis, and on SNES it was like a weird, almost like a Prince of Persia, like where you got to hop and jump platforms and you have like items in an inventory. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just completely different. Like again, they're just very different. So.
Sega. Remember that.
Yep.
Alex?
Sega. You know what? You're talking about Pokemon, and it got me thinking about Pokemon Go. Gave me the Pikachu wearing the Mimikyu, and that means that Pikachu knows what's under the Mimikyu's disguise.
He may, yeah.
So that means that the Mimikyu is going to come kill us.
Okay.
So I'm just going in a spiral about Pokemon killing people.
Okay.
I just kind of assumed that happened in general in the world of Pokemon.
I mean, I'm kind of just like, there are certain things that like they have revealed what's behind a Shy Guy's mask, and that's pretty messed up.
What's behind
Yeah,
the
it
Shy
is.
Guy's
So-
mask?
Do you really want to know?
What?
You don't.
Blackface, they're super racist.
No, it's nothing. It's literally nothing. It's just a gaping hole. It's real weird. It was in a Mario Party game where he drops his mask and there's literally nothing behind it. It's just a gaping hole. It's weird.
Great.
Now you can't unsee that.
Yep.
All right. That'll be it for this week's episode of Super GG Radio. Before we go, you can find us on X.
Nope. Twitter.
Nope.
Refuse to call it X.
It's X. At Super GG Radio and twitch.tv/Super GG Radio, where we have a podcast on Thursdays. Yeah! One person is watching and verbally assaulting some of the members of the podcast. It's probably my sister. Wednesdays, Joel is disco dancing. You're maybe going to be done with Disco Elysium this year?
I don't know. We'll see. I also have Lion King. So
Yep.
Lion King.
Hey, maybe you'll get it in one shot.
Oh, if I beat the game, does that stop the counter?
Yes, but you won't.
All right.
No cheats. No cheats.
Alex will make
cheats.
sure that you don't.
No safe scumming?
There is no way to save scum.
And no cheats. Oh, yes, there is. They have built-in save states. Don't do that. You can't do that.
There are no, you can't do that.
No
It's
save
got to be
states.
one.
No cheats.
It's got to be like Comics Zone.
It has.
You get
It has
one
to be
shot.
the original experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're not mad at the end of the experience, then you did it wrong.
Yes, exactly. You need to be very upset.
Well, then scratch that. Saturday, Joel and Kelly will also be playing Lion King if he can't finish it on Wednesday. Remember, this is all going to happen in the past. So if you're listening to this in our audio format, I'm so sorry. Mondays, Alex is getting risen with Monster Hunter.
Man, I'm now fully on the Monster Hunter train. I'm sorry I missed out on this game for a long time, but it is great. It is really a lot of fun. I'm having some I forgot how Joel. Do you remember how every fight with every monster in every part of Monster Hunter was always just a dramatic battle? And when they finally go down, you just like breathe a sigh of relief and you're like all sweaty?
Yes.
Yeah, that's still a thing. That's still such a thing.
Yeah,
It's addicting.
Yeah, my hands have healed a lot more, a lot since stopping playing Monster Hunter. It's real tense.
Yeah,
Real
and
tense.
they made the game a little bit easier with some of the weapons to do some of your special abilities. And then they simplified the food, which kind of stinks. But the rest of it's pretty. It's just like, oh, this is just good. Mwah. Just want to hunt them all. I gotta hunt them all.
You're good with that now? Tuesdays,
Yes,
Alex has Skater XL and some sick beats.
Hell yeah. Hanging out. New patch went live today. New patch, which means you can grab any way you want, which is really kind of makes for some messed up stuff. You can have both your hands crossed on either side of your board, nose and tail, and then your head goes through your legs, like in a real glitchy fashion, and your arms are twisted in weird, like, pretzel
Ooh.
fashion. Yeah, you can do that in the game now. It's pretty cool.
You're
That's
gonna
it
do
without
that?
mods. That's without mods. They added this into the game now.
Ooh.
So,
No.
and you can ride around like that. You can ollie like that. If you're just holding the grab buttons, your character will ollie while your hands are still
Nope.
like, down there. It's
Nope,
really
don't
messed
like
up.
that at all.
It's cool. It makes for more realism, though. Like, you can kickflip and grab the board before your feet get it.
Okay.
Like, if you're like, doing it down like a ramp and stuff, it's pretty cool.
All right. Well, if you'd like to reach us with questions or input, our email address is mail@superggradio.com, and provide us a review on iTunes or the podcast app of your choice. Thanks for listening, and GG Alex,
GG Getty.
GG Joel,
Good game.
and GG Alec.
GG.
Super GG Radio, now with 30% more disappointment.